Okay, welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how we had a $220,000 beta course launch 100% organically. And we had a 14 to 30 day launch period. We had 24 people buying the beta program, and 20 of those bought at $9,700. 4 people bought at $6,700. So we had 2 different packages. And we started 100% organically, and we built the course out with the beta group. And then we also built out the funnels and the marketing while coaching this beta group. And this later became a 7-figure course, and we had an official launch after the beta group. And we also started running paid ads afterwards. And there we had a 10x ROAS, and this became, a 7-figure course. So it's a genius way to launch your course, and I'm going to show you exactly how we did it. And I want to start with 4 pillars. And these are the pillars we use every time we scale a course. And the first pillar is the offer. And if you don't have a great offer, nothing else matters. And I can't stress this enough. Your offer is everything. If we were to run paid ads on a course or a coaching business, the first thing we'll look at, and that will really decide if the ads are working or not, is the offer. And the offer needs to serve and target a specific person with a specific problem. There are so many people out there trying to target everybody, and they don't have a specific person, and they don't have a specific problem that they're solving. And then it's impossible to run ads. So this is the first thing you just need to have in order. And then a clear, concrete outcome they can picture. And this is also important. Where does this specific person want to go? What specific problem are you solving? So maybe they're having a big back problem. That is the specific problem. What do they then want? Okay, obviously they don't want to have the back problem, but what does that look like? Is it that they can play with their kids again? Is there that they can finally work out again? So you need to have a clear outcome here. And then also a delivery model that doesn't require you for every client. So it's scalable. This is also very important because it doesn't matter if you have a really dialed in funnel, you're running paid ads, you have a great organic strategy, if you can't handle all the clients. So this is also important, and that's also why we like to have either full courses or hybrids of coaching and courses. And obviously, it also needs to work on cold traffic. There are a lot of people out there, maybe they're doing 10K a month, 15K a month, and they're only selling to warm audience. But if you want to scale to 100K a month or 200K a month, then you need an offer that works on cold traffic. And an offer working on cold traffic is so much stronger than a warm offer. Because a warm offer, people essentially buy because they know you, they trust you, and so on. But for cold traffic, then the offer needs to be freaking great. Otherwise, people won't buy. And how we did that with this offer is that we had a promise of 90 days to 5K a month as an online fitness coach. And we also did run a survey to collect more data on who these people were, what problem they want to solve, and where they wanted to go. And once we had that, it was really easy to create a scalable and great offer. And we figured out that this was personal trainers wanting to transition online. And they wanted to go for working at gyms where they basically worked all day, because when you work at a gym, and I actually have a personal training degree, and I know this because it sucks, is that maybe you have one client at 8 a.m. and then you have one client at 11 a.m. and then people get off at work and you have clients at 5 p.m. and then at 7 p.m. So it's very hard running a personal training job and having like a fixed set of period where you're working, like for example, having a 9 to 5. So this is a hassle for personal trainers. And also the income for personal trainers are really low, at least compared to online fitness coaches. And they struggle to get customers. And where they wanted to go is that they wanted to have a full time and location freedom. So they wanted to work whenever they want, and they wanted to work from wherever they wanted. And they also wanted a scalable business model. And as an online coach, then you can literally have 100 or even 200 customers if you have great systems. And you can charge each customer $200 to $500 a month. So it's a very profitable business model. And the guy that was running the course that we were launching here, he were doing about 20K a month as an online fitness coach. And that's not bad. Pillar 2. Now you have a great offer. Now you need great funnel and system. So what you want is a predictable funnel that turn every, for example, 100 visitor into a high quality call. And then you, of course, need a closing rate, and maybe you close 25%. So basically every 400 visitor is one closed client. And if you know that every 400 visitor is one closed client, then the only thing you need to do is increase the number of visitors. And this is, of course, a great thing about paid ads. And we like to set up what we call an qualification funnel. And the way we do this is that it's very easy to it's very low friction in the beginning, but then we have more friction in the end so that we only get high quality calls in our calendar. And then we have multi-channel follow-up, and every lead enters automation for email, SMS, and also a setter sequence. And then we have pre-call nurture, so that prospect arrive on the call already educated and already a bit bought in. And this also helps with the conversion rate. So maybe we can get the conversion rate from 25 to even 30% because of this. And yeah, what we like to do is in qualification funnel. And here we did run a VSL ad, so a video ad, where we explained the offer, and the ad was about 1.5 minutes, and we obviously start with an organic video. Then they went into an application, booked a call, and we closed the deal. So in the first 30 days, we had about 5,000 organic views, and this was from a Facebook page and also from an Instagram page. And then we got, in the end, 85 applications. We contacted 30 of them, which we thought were qualified. We closed 24 of them, and eventually we earned a total of $220,000. Pillar 3, lead generation. So when you have a great offer, you have a great funnel, now you need people into the funnel. And yeah, that is, of course, very important. So when we look at lead generation, we always start with what's already proven across industries. We have worked in so many different industries, so we have a great foundation on that we use when we start to work on ads. And then within what we know works, we test 10 to 20 variables simultaneously. We test audiences, we test hooks, formats, angles, CTAs. And we usually tend to like more video ads, but we also, of course, test picture ads. And then we track everything. I mean, every single part of the funnel needs to be tracked. That is so, so important. Otherwise, you don't really know what's working, what's not working. How can you, for example, fix that? Let's say you're spending a lot of money on ads and you're getting a lot of visitors, but you're not getting enough calls. How can you know how to fix that if you're not tracking? And then we cut the losers fast, we double down on the winners, and we test new against the control group. And of course, we iterate everything until the numbers are green, and then we scale spend aggressively. And what we want to know is that for every $1 spent, we get at least $5 back. And if we're doing a great job, we're getting more than $10 back. So if you're making $10 on the dollar, then you just need to spend more. And that is where we want to be. And if you're doing organic, you want to know that for every X visitor, you get 1 closed client. So it's the same math there for both. And the breakdown usually looks like this. This is what you need to know when you're running paid ads. And also if you're running organically, you need to know all your numbers. So this is what we always break down when we enter a new business or when we're scaling our own business. And then pillar 4, sales and operations. So you can get pretty far alone if you have your own coaching business or your own course. But once you get to that 50 and 100K a month, then you might need to scale your team. And obviously you didn't start this to be an operator. You want to be a founder or a business owner. You want to run the business, not work basically a 9 to 5 just in your own business. And yeah, then you need to look at having an appointment setter and closer and also a client success manager. And this is what gets you to multiple 6 figures a month. And yeah, one setter usually handles 500 to 1,000 leads a month. And this also gives you higher quality meetings, higher booking rate, higher closing rate. And then you have the closer should be at around 25% and handle 6 to 8 live calls a day. And then the CSM who handle client delivery. If you have this in place and you're already doing 50 to 100K a month, then you can easily scale to 200K plus a month. So these are the 4 pillars. So how did we exactly put this into play for this beta launch where we did $220,000? So we first and foremost made the offer, and I translated the headline here to English, rest is in Norwegian. The small parts here doesn't matter, there are more around delivery. But the promise was 90 days to 5K a month as an online fitness coach. And we also had a guarantee, 10 new clients, or we work for free until you get it. And this was a conditional guarantee, meaning that you had to do outreach, you had to follow the program, you had to make the offer like we wanted to, and so on. And this was how we launched it organically on Facebook, but we also had some Instagram posts, and we reached around 5,000 people. And we sent them to an application here. I'm actually going to show you a little bit of the application form. Okay, so here you can see the application form, and it's in Norwegian, but I will just go through it quickly. We had a very simple intro page here where we wanted them to fill in the application. And then we asked a lot of questions to qualify them. And what I like to do is use Typeform so that we can set up conditions. And basically, if people aren't qualified, we didn't even send them to the booking page. We sent them directly to, sorry, we can't help you. But based on the answers there, and we also asked financial qualification questions, we asked where they wanted to go, where they were currently, what they were doing currently, if they were a personal trainer, and so on. And in the end, we sent them to a page where we just said that your application was sent, and then we contacted the ones that were qualified. And let's see here, I'll go back to Figma. And once we contacted those people, it was Peter here. He was the appointment setter and also the closer. He is one of my co-founders in my business, and he's really good at sales. And he booked in about 30 calls, and of which 24 were sold on our offer. And yeah, his closing rate were exceptional. But that was also, okay, so part of it is that he's a really good closer, of course. And also because we had a funnel where we qualified people and we asked a lot of questions to really figure out who's the best candidates. And this is what you want. You don't want your calendar to be filled with a bunch of bad leads. And then we had a community group where we coached them. And we made the course with this community group so that we got direct feedback on the course. And this is the best way to build out your course. For all this work, don't sit at home, spend months creating a course, then launch it to the market. You want to build it with a small group so you get feedback. Because what happened here is that the coach, his name was Marcus, he had actually created a curriculum for what he thought would be the course. And then once he coached these 24 people, he understood that a lot of what he thought were what he should focus on and how this course should be structured were actually a bit wrong. So we ended up shifting and changing the course a lot based on the feedback here. So this was how we actually launched it organically. And then once we were scaling with paid ads, we set up a VSL funnel, which were based on the responses and the data we have gathered. And a VSL funnel looks like this for us. We had made ads on Facebook and Instagram and also Google Ads. And we sent them to a landing page. We captured their email and name. Then we sent them to the VSL. And then we sent them to the booking page. So this was how we set up the funnel after we had done the beta group. And this funnel generated us 10x ROAS. And yeah, it worked really well. And here is how it looks. We had a landing page with a small pre-frame video here. They fill out their name, email, mobile, and it was an indirect VSL, meaning that we gave them a free video guide. We gave them value instead of a direct VSL where you're more direct in your offer. We sent them to a long VSL video. This was about 40 minutes. So everybody that booked in a call were pre-qualified. And then we sent them through an application here to make sure that people booking in a slot in the calendar were actually qualified. And here it was the same as with the type form above here, where we sent people off the application and we didn't let them book if they weren't a qualified lead. And then they booked a call. So I didn't want to use too much time here on the actual VSL funnel because I want to focus on the organic launch. So I hope this was helpful and I will see you in the next video.